All right, it says we are live. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? Live streams. It's your boy Brendan B was cracking, and I just wanted to hop on here real quick, talk to y'all about this story. Right now, this is a developing story about the Sheduer Sanders. He was prank called during his NFL draft night. I think it was about 2 days ago, and reports have now come out about kind of the source of how that happened and who was responsible for this. And it turns out that it was actually the son of the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Hawks. This guy is by the name of Jeff Ulbrich. Jeff Ulbrich is the guy's name. Apparently, he was on a email thread where he had, of course, all these exclusive numbers because during the draft night, all these draftees are given exclusive numbers in the phone to be able to be contacted, and apparently that list was leaked and it was given to his son, and his son thought it was a funny idea to go ahead and call someone on a very serious line during a very sensitive time, especially going on during the draft, which is very people's lives where they're waiting on that call, right? They're waiting to hear that call. They're waiting for someone to come through and say, hey, you've been selected. And so I think once the video dropped, I was around out who was responsible and what was going on and how this could happen. And so of course, reports have now come out right here. This is via ESPN, you know what I'm saying? Son of Falcons coordinator Ulbrich admits to the prank of calling the Sheduer Sanders during that time. And I wanted to kind of hop on here because I'm very curious about what will be the outcry for this, right? I've been seeing a lot of people saying that this guy needs to lose his job and that he's definitely up for some sort of repercussions or consequences. And I'm here to tell you guys that that's not going to happen. This guy's not going to get fired. All right. Everyone's going to move on because nobody cares. All right. Everyone's going to come out here and they're going to act like, nothing happened. They're going to act like this kid just made a mistake and that, Sheduer Sanders should bow out gracefully and just go ahead and take it on the chin as it was just a joke. And I'm seeing the narrative get around where people are saying this guy was just joking, they should be able to take a joke. When did, making a joke become against the law? I think it became against the law when someone was given private information and then it go ahead and got leaked and then someone's playing around on someone's phone when they're waiting to hear back. I think maybe that's when it gets a little, in the realm of legalities and what will eventually happen, right? And I'm curious to see, how that plays out. But I think right now this is just a common case of hypocrisy and what we're seeing right now in the culture, where we're seeing people who find the need to always kind of bring race into things. And so let's bring it up where, of course, let's say if this was Deion Sanders, right, and it was Sheduer prank calling someone who was about to get drafted, and let's say that person that he was calling was someone who was Caucasian. Do we think the same things would happen? I don't think they would. I think that we would probably see, an overwhelming amount of people calling for Deion's job, people calling for, the NFL to do something and step in on this and make something happen and do something about this. But I just don't think that's going to happen in this scenario. You know what I mean? We're going to go about our lives, wondering what happened to this kid and nothing's going to happen. Just like everything else. We're about to see a big uptick in people, coping for this kid while, of course, this story continues to develop, right? And we continue to see kind of what's going to happen. I think when we look at it from that perspective, we're going to have to really assess the overall politics of this, right? And what it looks like, right? And like I said, if this was Deion Sanders and if this was Sheduer or if this was Shiloh, if it was Deion Jr. who was prank calling people who are potentially waiting on the call of their life. Do we really think that it would be the same smoke? I don't think it is. And that's my problem. A lot of content creators, they ain't got the same smoke for everybody. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of nobody having smoke for these guys and making it, real. No one deserves to be played with, especially on a day that's as important as, draft night. This is a big day for him. It's a big day for their family. It's a big day for the organizations, and they shouldn't be allowing this type of negligence to go on. And I don't know, maybe from the NFL's perspective, they'll have to figure out kind of like what they're going to do about this and like how they're going to be able to like rectify it. But I do find it interesting that, the social politics are going to play, I'm just, like I said, I'm looking in on all these comment sections and I'm laughing for this kid saying it was a joke and that, it doesn't mean anything and we should just, let it go. All right, well, help me understand then like what's serious and what's not when somebody's pretty much livelihood and their life is on the line. You know what I'm saying? I need help understanding because right now it's kind of interesting, right? The narrative, right, is getting shifted every single day. And we're trying to figure out, what's happening with this, right? And like, I think, as we're looking into it, the Atlanta Falcons put out a statement saying that the Atlanta Falcons do not condone behavior and send our sincere apologies to Sheduer Sanders and his family, who we have been in contact with to apologize to, as well as facilitate an apology directly from Jax to the Sanders family. All right, cool, great. He's going to get an apology. We're all just supposed to move on and not supposed to really care anymore as we continue to move on this story, right? Would it be the same smoke if this was Deion Sanders, if this was Sheduer Sanders, if this was Shiloh Sanders who is out here prank calling? I don't think it would be the same smoke. I think the media would go ape crazy. They would lose their minds. And I think right now that's kind of what we're seeing is like, the constant over compensation for those who are of a different persuasion, right? Black men, black fathers, we got to work harder than everybody else. We got to do more than everybody else. And we also got to show more grace than everybody else, right? We're supposed to just take it on the chin, not make a big deal about it. It was just a joke. Where's your sense of humor? I think black men are tired of laughing. We're tired of being the end of the joke. And we're tired of being controlled about saying something about that. Just because you do something to me, you can't control how I respond to that. The consequences do not dictate that. I get to do and say whatever I want if you do something to me first. And, good on Sheduer for, listening to this guy. But, I think at the end of the day, like if Sheduer would have, lambasted this dude across social media and said all types of, negative things, they would have found a way to get mad at Sheduer. I mean, they're finding a way to get mad at Sheduer right now for a person who pranked him, fam. It's insane. I mean, this is kind of where we're at in the NFL. It's kind of just, a fucking free-for-all of people who are just kind of doing what they want and nobody's going to do anything. We're all just going to move on and act like nothing happened and act like we didn't just see this happen and act like this was so funny when it really wasn't. I'm really, really curious to see kind of, what the NFL will do in this scenario, which I think they will not do anything. This coach will go ahead and be able to live his life and not really have to worry too much. And this will go over on the next thing. They'll probably ask him at the press conference maybe once, and then that'll be it. And no one will do anything. No one will hold them accountable. No one will hold them to the table and say, hey, man, how did these numbers get out here? And why was your son playing on somebody's phone during the hours where people are actually waiting to hear from them? NFL organizations, millions of dollars on the line here. We're not messing around. And to, do that, post it on social media, like the boldness of such a move is just insane to me. So yeah, I just wanted to hop on here and kind of, express that um what we're seeing right now is a bunch of propaganda, and what we're also going to see is a lot of coverage there. They're going to make this kid look good and better than kind of what the situation is kind of representing. um I wouldn't be surprised if there's going to be some press conference where the kid comes out and, makes a public apology, whatever the, situation may be, to try to make this situation look better and make it kind of go away. But I just wanted to just kind of point out the hypocrisy that we're kind of seeing right now, because I know for a fact, if this was Deion Sanders' son, and if he was out here prank calling people as Deion is the current coach of a franchise, yeah, Deion might have lost his job behind that. But like I said, for black men, we're held to a different standard. So of course, if that was to happen to us, it would be, World War III. No one would really bat an eyelash by going hard and having so much to say about it. And we would see podcasters and YouTubers aimlessly making explanations about why and how this person needs to be under control, and why is he not talking to his son, and what type of father is letting his son run off and do all these type of things. What parents would let their son do these type of things, right? I bet you they won't question this dude's parenting. I bet you they won't question what type of father he is, right? If he's, involved, what's his, scenario and connection to this whole entire situation? Does this kid work at the organization? Is he a part of the Falcons organization? How could he get this information if he's not a part of it? Was he just going through his dad's email? I need some help. I need to understand like how these type of things happen, because like when I'm looking at the comment section and people are saying all types of wild things, it doesn't make sense to me, like how we could just be where we're at right now. But y'all got to help me figure out like what we're seeing here, because it's not making sense to me in one capacity or the other. Like I just don't get it. I'm trying to understand like what's the bar, or where we're going, or like why is the goalpost being moved so far when like we already know what this scenario is. But like I said, we're here like we're here fighting to break narratives and break stereotypes and try to bring some consciousness to stories that people aren't talking about, and the hypocrisy of the media and what they're doing to brainwash the people and the community. And so yeah, that's why I'm here to go and continue to smash the gas on all this BS that's going on in the culture, and why it's a problem. Yeah, it's a problem. And I think that a lot of you guys need to wake up and see the play for what it is. So yeah, I just wanted to hop on here and make that clear, make my stance clear, that we support Deion Sanders and the Sanders family. We love and support what Coach Prime is doing, and Sheduer Sanders, congratulations on being drafted to the NFL. You got nothing but support. And to all them boys out there in Colorado who made it, Jimmy Horn Jr., LeJounte, Will Shepard, Trav, BJ, my boy Cam. Congratulations, fellas. You guys made it. Don't let everyone get in your ear and tell you that you're not great. You guys are on to great things. Keep doing great things. Yeah, that's it. Peace.